I love dragons and death, 'cause they are fun. I'm not gonna lie. Chapter 16 is a rough chapter. Okay, I'm Tory Torrential. This is Tory Survives Game of Thrones. We're on chapter 16, which is Eddard 3. So it's about Ned Stark, who has been placed as the hand of the king. They were in the column going. Right before we left, there was a big fight where Joffrey was on a date with Sansa, saw Micah and Arya practicing sword fighting, so he jumped off like being a little piece of crap, pulls his real sword and starts like putting the point in Micah's face because he's common born. He's just the son of a butcher, and telling him like he's not allowed to hit nobility, even though Arya is saying like that's my friend, and he's like, she asked me. And he's just being sadistic to the point where Arya hits him real hard with the broom in the back of the head. He starts trying to chop up Arya. Nymeria, Arya's direwolf that Jon found, jumps in, attacks him, bites his arm really bad. It's he drops the sword. She like mocks him, throws his sword in the river, and they run into the woods. And it's been about 4 days since then. And Ned, our boy Stark, he is stark raving mad right now. Like he's red with rage, just walking down these tower steps. Now, I need my glasses for a second. Here's a little bit of history for you. Where they're at, just past the neck, they're on a bordering river. There's a man named Raymond Derry, and he owns a pretty decent sized hold. Now, during the Battle of the Trident, Raymond Derry had 3 older brothers, and all 3 were in the Battle of the Trident on the wrong side. They sided with the Mad King, and they were killed. Okay, so this makes it very tense for King Bobby and his entire column, that was going down like 400 people to be based out of. Meanwhile, Cersei's flipping out or whatever. Bobby just wants to go. Ned Stark has been looking for Arya for 3 days at this point, without sleeping almost. Jaime and the Hound are up north searching, and apparently Jory has found Arya, but Arya's already in the audience chamber in Raymond's hold. So Ned is not happy, and he's trying not to run or anything because he's trying to keep his composure because he's now the hand of the king. So he's just walking, but as soon as he gets in that room, he sets it off, right? Like the first thing he says and stuff, he's like, Arya like breaks down. She's dirty, you can see like little tear runlets in the dirt where she's been crying. He looks around real quick. There's basically Raymond sitting there just blank faced on purpose, like, because he doesn't want to pick a side. It's already tense, and stuff. Like, it's kind of like Robert's like, I'm still your king. And he's like, I know, but it's like that, Robert was worried about House is calling him the usurper and just biding time till they can do him in or replace him and stuff. Raymond would be a very good candidate for this. And there's so many people in this tiny hold. They're just packed on top of each other. Looking around, there's him. There is the Brave, the legendary knight. I want to say Ballastar, the Bold is there, but he's looking real grave. Like he's just like looking sorry. And then there's Renly, who's Bobby's youngest brother, King Bobby, his youngest brother, and he's got like a half smile, but he's kind of a wild card, so that could mean anything. Everyone else in this room, you know, like, is a Lannister or one of Lannister's men, and they are looking hostile. And the first thing Ned does, as soon as he walks in, he's like, why didn't anybody bring my daughter to me? Why is she here? Right? And, you know, he's lit. Because obviously he's been searching for her for 3 days. He's been sick with worry. And then Cersei is full Karen this entire time. But she's like, you dare speak to your king like that? And like, Bobby basically says, shut up. You know, he's like, quiet woman, you know, like, and trying to put her in her place, you know, because I'm pretty sure Bobby gets it. But King Bobby's like, I just wanted to put it to bed, you know, because this entire time, like, the subtext that I'm getting is Bobby just wants to leave. He doesn't think it's that big a deal. And, you know, he just wishes it was done. I think he's actually kind of ticked off that it's causing a wedge between him and Ned right when he was reconnecting with Ned. And like, everything he says kind of confirms that. Meanwhile, Cersei is like just looking for heads, full fucking Karen, right? So you know, Arya, she's like, I'm so sorry, Dad, I'm so sorry, you know, and he's crying and stuff, and Cersei lets it loose, you know, well, her and her butcher attacked Joffrey with clubs and sicked her wolf on him, you know, and Joffrey even doubles down, and he's like, and she threw lion's tooth into the river, you know, but Ned notices Joffrey is not looking at Arya at all. Like, he will not make eye contact, right? And Arya is like, that's not how it happened. It didn't go down like this, you know? And Ned's sitting there, like, freaking out a little bit. Sorry, my hand pen keeps falling off. Maybe I'm not worthy. But anyway, like, so King Bobby's just like, look, all right, you're going to tell me what happened to Arya. You know, he's like, it's a massive, massive crime to lie to a king. Okay, so you're going to tell me what happened, and you're going to tell me the truth. Okay, and then he looks at Joffrey, and he's like, she's going to tell her version, and you're going to shut up. Okay, and then after that, you're going to tell your version. Okay, so Arya's like, okay, and as far as the book, you know, I guess she tells the exact story of what happened in the last chapter, like chapter 15 at the end. And then it's Joffrey's turn, and Joffrey proceeds to tell a total lie. You know, he's like, you know, they ran up on me, they hit me with the clubs, she sicked her wolf, the wolf tried to gore me, she threw my sword away and stuff. And it's important to note, when Arya was telling her story, Renly started laughing. Okay, he was like, you know, and the king is just like, okay, I need you to escort Renly out of here so he can breathe. And Renly's like, you don't gotta signal guards on me, I'll leave. But Joffrey, when later, you gotta tell me how a 9-year-old girl the size of a wet rat managed to disarm you with a broomstick and then throw your sword into a river. And he walks out, and as he shuts the door, he's still laughing, and then you hear him go like, lion's tooth. You know, like making fun of Joffrey. And then Joffrey goes into the tale of how he was totally innocent, and they jumped him, and he got ambushed, and she only won because there was a wolf, and I don't know, probably all sorts of stuff. She's like, and then, you know, there was 9 Grumpkins. Like, he's just lying totally. And Cersei has bought this story, like, just completely. Now, after that, King Bobby's like, okay, well, it's one word against the other. What am I supposed to do here? And Ned had called for Sansa because he had a feeling this might come up. And, you know, during Joffrey's retelling, Sansa had walked in with Poole. You know, I believe it's Jory Poole. But yeah, he walked in with Jory Poole, and Sansa's here. And he's like, they weren't the only ones there. Sansa was there. So they bring Sansa up. And he's like, okay, so tell me what happened, Sansa. And Sansa, being a little meh and being stuck in the middle, she just goes, oh, I don't remember. It happened so fast, right? Like letting, you know, instead of calling out Joffrey for lying, and Arya has had it, right? She's just like, you rotten. And I mean, like, it was basically she just flying tackles. It says she flew at her like an arrow. And she just, how dare you, you know? And they yank Arya off of Sansa. And Cersei, the whole time, she's throwing shade. She's like, she's wild, just like her wolf. And da-da-da, you know? And, you know, but because Sansa's like, you know? Like, there's no way to call it. You know, so Bobby's like, okay, well, I'll handle Joff. You handle Arya. You know, trying to handle it like boys. Because Stark was hoping, like, maybe he could talk it out with Bobby privately and not make it a matter of court. Cersei's the one who pulled all of this, you know? And Cersei's like, no, she's going full Karen. She's like, I demand that she be punished, you know? And King Bobby, to his credit, and this is why I think he's just done with it, you know? He's like, what do you want me to do? Like, she's 9. Should I whip her in the street? Like, kids fight. That's what happens. And you know, like, Joffrey's like, dear wolf tried to bite my arm off. And Arya's like, she only bit him a little bit. You know, like, she's not even denying that he got bit. She's just saying, like, she wasn't trying to rip his arm off. Because, honestly, Nymeria probably would have if she wanted to. But, you know, she's pushing. And he's kind of walking away. And she's like, then the wolf. I want the wolf handled, you know. And Robert's like, I forgot about the wolf. And he turns around and he's like, the wolf. And they're like, we haven't been able to find the wolf. And he actually looks like, okay, good, this is settled. And he's like starting to turn back around. And then Cersei is like 100 gold dragons for the skin of that wolf. You know what I mean? And Robert is done at this point. Like, you can tell he's done. So he turns around and he's like, that's expensive for a pelt. You're not spending my money on that. You know, like, you're gonna spend some Lannister money, okay? Like, that's coming out of your pocket, because I don't want any part of this. And then she's like you know, the man I married, you know, would have had a wolf pelt on my bed by the night. You know, and he's like, God damn it, seriously, like, the whole time. And he's like, they don't even have the wolf, you know? And she's like, we have a wolf, you know? And he's like, I think he actually says, damn you, Cersei. He's like, damn you, Cersei. And he looks at Ned. And he's like, look, you know, the dire wolf was going to turn on her anyway. You know, just get her a dog. She'll be happier. You know? And Sansa, it starts dawning on Sansa that they're talking about Lady. And she's like, you're going to kill my... No, like, Lady wasn't even there. She didn't do nothing. Like, Lady's a good dog. And Ned is reading it, and he's like, Bobby, on our friendship, on my sister, man, can you just let this go? You know, and Bobby's just like just daggers at Cersei, and he's like, I can't, you know, basically like the subtext is like, I gotta live with her, you know. And Ned is pissed at this point, and he's like, then do it yourself, you know, because, you know, Ned told Bran, he's like, if you execute someone, you know, you have to carry it out. And he's so disassociated at this point and just wants to get out of here, like King Bobby. He just looks at him like dead-eyed, you know, like no apology, like, and just leaves. Like, he walks out of the court. And then Cersei is like, fetch Sir Illian Payne, right? Because she's trying to bring the pain on Lady. And Ned is like, screw that. And he's talking to Jory, and he's like, Jory, put the girls up and bring me ice. Like, you know, his sword. And Cersei's like stank facing him and stuff. And Ned is like she's from the north. She deserves better than a butcher. You know, and he's pissed. So he walks out to Lady where they have her tied up outside. And Lady's being sweet and nice as ever. She's, you know, because she was always the most timid and the smallest and stuff. And Jory, you know, comes and has ice. And luckily, it kind of skips any description of it. And it just says, when it's done, you know, so Ned handles Lady. And he tells Jory, he's like, I need you to get 4 men. And I need you to take her back so she can be buried in Winterfell. And Jory's like, all that way? And he's like, yes, all that way. There is no way a Lannister woman is getting a hold of her skin, you know? So he's trying to, like, give her a proper burial and everything, you know, so, like, the Lannisters don't do something shifty with it. And then when he's walking out, because luckily when all this happened, you know, Jaime and the Hound were both out. But the Hound is coming back in through the door, and he's got, like, a big package on the back of his horse, you know, that's kind of in a bloody tarp. And he's like, what the hell am I going to tell Arya? You know? And he's like, you found it then, you know? And the Hound was like, I found something. And he drops it, you know? And when Ned unrolls it, it's Micah. And Micah has been slashed, like, through pretty much, like, it says shoulder to hip. And I'm guessing it's from behind because Ned's like, you ran him down? And the Hound is like, he tried to run. I mean, not very fast, but... And that's where the chapter faded out, you know, as far as that. And that's really bleak and kind of sad, and they didn't even wait to get the story before, so I'm positive the Hound was on Cersei's orders, who is just blindly believing her little golden boy Joffrey, who's sitting there all wound up in silk and everything. And you know, like, this is really sad, and it's a down moment, and I didn't want to end this video on such a down moment, so I gotta tell you, okay, I know Lady. I knew Lady. She was a friend of mine. And Lady sent me a video in case something ever happened to Lady. So let's give Lady her final words. And I really mean this one. Cersei Lannister's a bitch. She should be eaten from a wall. Joffrey's a lying little shit. Read my paw and fuck you all. Woo. woo, 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 woo. They cut my head off. Woo, woo, woo. The musical stylings of Lady, everybody. Sorry, I couldn't end it on such a down note. Hopefully that was amusing. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the song that Cemetery Sons wrote, but yeah. Anyway, I'm Tory Torrential. That was chapter 16, Eddard 3. You're hopefully mildly amused, and I love you. Thanks for watching my show. Like and subscribe.